Have you been thinking about starting a podcast? Well, let me tell you about Anchor. Anchor is totally free and it is very easy. In addition to it being easy, they provide the tools so you don't have to look anywhere else. They also distribute your podcast to several other platforms so you don't have to do any of that work. Additionally, you can make some money while doing your podcast through Anchor. Go ahead and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and start your podcast today. You will enjoy. About sex. Yep, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about sex. Now, in the early 1990s, one of my favorite female groups was Salt and Pepper. They had this song, and one of the lyrics, or the chorus to the lyrics, was, "Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be." And then they finished that chorus off with, "Let's talk about sex." So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about sex. Now, when they were singing their song, when they produced it and released it, their song was definitely talking about how irresponsible people are when it comes to sex. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how responsibly we should be and how we should mature as married couples when it comes to the act of sex. Okay, so again, I want to talk about how we should be maturing in the act of sex and how we should be having sex responsibly as married couples. Now, if we're honest with ourselves, most of us got our sex skills from probably things like watching porn, or even as a teenager who was having sex before marriage, or you perform based on what the last person taught you. Honestly, most of us think we are doing a really good job in the bedroom. Fellas think they laying it down. Ladies think they putting it on them. When the truth is, a lot of our spouses and a lot of spouses are not sexually satisfied, and they're really doing their very best not to hurt your feelings by letting you know that that's not working for me. And some people don't know how to articulate and to communicate that they need something different, or they're too afraid, they're too embarrassed, don't want to offend. There's so much that's happening and going on where people are just being married and having unfulfilled and unsatisfying sex. Now, back to how we used to do it, or how we are performing. Sometimes in a person's mind, they are, your spouse could be thinking or wishing that you are doing some things differently. Or if you're honest with yourself, you have probably had thoughts and hopes and wishes and prayers of, I wish he would do this, or I wish he would do that. You're rolling your eyes. She's rolling her eyes. He's trying not to think about porn images or any other images. There's a whole lot that's going on because people are unsatisfied. And then y'all wonder why your sexual connection is not as strong as you'd like it to be. And the truth is, it's because you're just not happy sexually, period. You can't really say that you're giving into temptation or that you're lustful or any of those things. The bottom line could simply be, he or she is not doing it for me. They're not hitting it the way I need them to. It's not coming off the way I need them to. I don't even know how to articulate what I'm trying to say. Okay? So listen, as we do counseling and coaching with married couples, one of the biggest complaints that we hear from couples is about the lack of communication, and then it's always followed with not being sexually fulfilled. There's something happening in the sex department. A strong third is probably finances, okay? So here are some of my questions to you. I just want to pose some questions for you to think about as we are really needing to understand what's happening with us sexually in our marriages. What is the extent of your sex education or knowledge when it comes to your own body or your spouse's body? I want you to think about that for a while and think about how you can change that. Have you educated yourself on the woman's body, or have you educated yourself on the man's body to learn what is where and how those different things are related to sexual satisfaction? Or are you just having sex? Have you learned about the different erogenous zones? Or are you just having sex? Have you learned the importance of lubrication and the fact that spit and baby oil and Vaseline and lotion causes bacteria and bacteria infections, and they were not made for sex, okay? So I'm going to admonish you to stop using spit as lubrication. That's nasty, okay? And it creates bacteria infections, and women have to go get their bodies all taken care of after you didn't use your little nasty spit as some lubrication. Lubrication, lubes, they are important and they are vital. They are made and created to help the body and not harm the body, okay? Use the appropriate ones. All right, or you just having sex. Let me just keep going, because I could get all off into that. Anyhow, when it comes to clitoral stimulation, are you still using childhood practices of just using the fingers to stimulate the woman's clitoris? Women, are your husbands just using fingers? I'm praying that you guys will get some education and some maturing to move beyond finger play. I'm not getting ready to tell you that it doesn't feel good and that it's not effective and this and the other. What I'm saying is, as you've been married for a while, that can get pretty old and pretty boring. And also, fingers are gross. They care fingernails. Everybody don't keep their fingernails clean, and there's germs and bacteria and all kinds of stuff that can cause to a woman's pH to be thrown off and her body to have some infections. Come away from finger play, okay? I understand, fellas. You used it when you was a child, didn't have nothing else to use. You was trying to figure it out. Well, as an adult, as some grown men and grown women, let's invest some money in some actual things that were created to safely get the woman to that peak that she's trying to get to, okay? Please. Or, if y'all agree on it, you can go ahead and use your mouth. Just don't be spitting and stuff. But you can use your mouth if that's what y'all agree on. I'm just asking that you come away from the finger play, okay? Real talk. If you cannot tell, I don't like fingers. Couples, listen, it is time for us to be educated on what positions work best for your body type, and your body size, and for the different shapes and types, the ways that the penises, when they are erect, if they're curved, if they're straight, if they go down, if they go up. There's different positions that work for the different types and shapes and ways of the penis, and different positions that work best for your different body type. You need to, ladies, you should be talking to your gynecologist to find out about your vaginal canal, because there's different positions that work better for different vaginal canals, because all of ours are not the same, okay? That's why you hear some men talk about that one was good. Ooh, man, that was good. It's different. We're all different, so we need to learn what our body shapes and types are and learn what positions work best for them, okay? Now listen, something else we must do and understand is that our bodies change. Change is inevitable, and because change is inevitable, we have to change when the change happens. What felt good when you were younger doesn't feel good where you are now. And we need to be able to communicate that and come away from being offended because we need to change up some things. Just understand that we're no longer kids. Our bodies are changing. Our bodies need different things. I might need a little longer touch here or a little softer touch there. Things change, and it is important to communicate and educate one another on exactly what it is so that you can have some fulfilling and some matured sex, okay? I want you to think about sex education as you think about regular education. Why not get a PhD in sexually pleasing your spouse? Be open to learning regularly, okay? Don't be so offended when change needs to happen. Your spouse, just because your spouse changes doesn't mean that they are thinking about somebody or that they are cheating or any of those things. If you have infidelity issues or if you got jealousy issues, then those are something that you need to work out. You must understand that the body is changing, and because the body is changing, you gonna need to change. Y'all gonna need to change. Sex needs to change. It appears that we want to get degrees in absolutely everything. We're always trying to further our career and learn about so many other things. And the one thing that we enjoy the most, we refuse to get educated in, and that is sex. And if you don't like sex, then I would really love to talk to you to find out what in the world is going on, because most people love sex and enjoy it, but we refuse to get educated in it. We cannot allow television and porn and those different things to be our teacher. There's a lot of resources and literature and classes and all sorts of things that are available to married couples or even single people, but I'm talking to those who are married, so you can be educated so that you and your spouse can have an amazing time in the bed. Communication is vital in marriage, especially on this topic of sex. Y'all can read books together, attend seminars, go to sex therapy, or get a sex coach. Listen, there is nothing worse than thinking that you are sexually satisfying your spouse and then to find out that he or she is very unsatisfied and actually hates when it's time for y'all to come together. And they are trying to come up with excuses because they know it's not getting ready to be good. They know it's not getting ready to last long. They know that they're just going to be miserable. That's horrible, okay? And that's not how it's supposed to be. So let me close this out with these few sayings for us, okay? And then just remember, I'm going to dive even deeper into these topics, probably lay them out a little bit more in depth, because we really need to be matured in the things when in the area of sex with our spouses. So listen, talk about your changing body, okay? Learn how to take care of your sexual organs. It's important. Learn how to eat properly, because that takes effect with our sexual organs as well, okay? Talk about what you like specifically and talk about what it is you don't like. Learn your body, how it works, and talk about what you like when it comes to foreplay. And that is something that is extremely important, because a lot of times we are lacking that whole part of foreplay. People are just doing the minimal just to get by, just to get the penis hard, just to get the vagina wet. Well, that is not enough. Foreplay needs to be extensive. So you need to talk about exactly what it is that you want and that you desire and that you need to have a full-blown out foreplay time, okay? Talk about frequency. You want to have sex 3-4 times a week? Talk about that. Talk about how y'all can make those things happen. Share your fantasies. Just make sure they don't include other people, okay? Ladies, please do your Kegel exercises, because it's going to help you with sex and it's going to help your bladder, which weakens as you age. Practice and do your Kegel exercises. And here's what I want you to not do. Don't come bragging and talking about what you know from past sexual experiences. That is a turnoff, and that has absolutely nothing to do with who you're with in your current situation. What you did in the past don't mean absolutely nothing to your current husband and your current wife. Whatever you did, you need to shut it off your mind, remove it from your memory bank. Don't be fantasizing, and enjoy who you're with. Talk about how you are doing together sexually as a couple. Don't be bringing up the past. That's a no-no. All right, guys. I wanted to talk about sex today, and the next time I'm going to be talking about sex, and probably a couple of more episodes after that. I hope that was helpful to you, if not funny, so that we can understand that we should be getting some more education and learning and maturing in the areas of sex, so that we can be sexually satisfied and not have begrudging sex with our spouses. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Keeping Your Marriage Hot and Holy. I hope that you will follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook under Chara A. Taylor, or you can find us on Instagram under the Hot and Holy Love Coaches. And we hope that you will go to our website, www.teamtaylorministries.com. We are having a marriage retreat coming up. Hope that you could join us. I hope that you enjoyed. Make sure that you do what you can to have a hot and holy marriage. Take care.